gangs, they have time, they have resources. They would sit down, they would analyze these things, and if it's about individuals, it tells them more about that individual. It helps them stage their attacks. Today, the message is to tell you that your virtual valuables are valuables. You must be guided. It is not because it's social media, everything should be said there. It is not because it's social media, we open it up ajar. Now, my search is now ready. If you guys can see, I'm opening that. So this is about me. I opened an account in 2011, immaculate. This is true. My geolocation is on. It is true, especially when I travel and I tweet with a tag on it. So yes. Then you could see where I've been tweeting from. Usually I tweet from an Android platform. I've tweeted only from a web client once, from a web app 6 times, and from a Twitter 4 platform 22 times. This is beautiful information. This tells you the person is always mobile. He's not ready to sit behind his laptop to do anything. He will just take his phone and flow. And that's how it goes. Things that I have liked in recent times. Awesome. This is true. This is so true. Everything I've done, let's go all the way down. Let's go all the way down. So these are my circles: CC Consulting, DPA Summit, Kuleza. These are my circles. These are people who can easily confirm who I am. These are people who I like what they do. I follow them. They follow back. These are my networks. So long as, and you can see all the various Twitter accounts here, Poncelet, India, and all everybody. So these are people, when you are looking for the target, you begin to also what? Track them. If you're looking for Desmond and it's becoming difficult for you to get him, you begin to track his network. And this is a beautiful source of doing that. It looks so harmless, but by the nature of work that I do, I can tell you this is a gold mine. Now, I take you through all the way to the very potentially first tweet. Where are they? Well, maybe that was too much, so it's truncated somewhere. We can go through if we want to, but we are not going to waste all the time just looking at Team Folic. But I'm sure I've made the point with the Google platform, and I've made a point with Team Folic. So let me now close it up with password management. And then I would go and end my presentation and take your questions. If there's a need to do other demos, I'll do it. No worries. Now, this platform that I'm using is my login. There are other ones like how secure is your password, etc. You can choose whatever you want. I play around these spaces a lot, so I have a lot of stuff like this that I use. Now, I'm going to show password because I want to do a fun game with you. Now, please, for Christ's sake, don't use God as your password because it's what? Weak. He is God, but please don't use him as a password. This password can be cracked in 0.02 seconds. But if you still feel that God is good, then make a step further. God is good. You still haven't done much. You know why? Because this password can still be cracked in under 1 second. But I'm taking you where I want you to go. Now, because you know God is good is your password, now bring in a bit of complexity. Now, I have 2 ends with capital letters, but still, I haven't made any progress. I am replacing my I with exclamation sign. So now I have God is, and I'm bringing in a number. Sorry, I'm bringing in a number. So now I've added a number to it. Now let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. So that's 8. So now I bring in a space and then probably decided to add a year. Okay. Now I want you to see something. You notice when I add 2020, the months reduced. But when I did 20, then the years, I had a lot of, I had a year for the password to be cracked. The reason is this, because 2020 is a year, it can easily be guessed. So the system is trying to tell you that your passwords should not be easy to guess. You should be able to make it, you should be able to identify that password. You are the one who's supposed to be able to identify that password. So you have to, be able to use terminology that will allow you to, grab the password. And the concept is always take a statement or take a word and try to, blend it with letters here and there and keep to the password, the the password strength.
Strength.
Exactly, you know, the 8 characters, add uppercase, add lowercase, add special characters, etc. So maybe here we say God at 2020, God at 20, we separate here. So now God is good at 20, and we have 13 years for it to what? Be cracked. Now, the reason why the space made a lot of difference is that password crackers have not been able to beat the space character. So space character sort of like creates confusion in the minds of password cracking tools that attackers use. So we have something called brute force. It's similar to trying to break your door down with some bulldozer, or trying to break your door down with some heavy hammer so that I can enter. That is what brute force is when it comes to ethical hacking as well. So yes, this is similar to that. And when you use a space, it creates confusion in there. So yes, God is space good at 20. Seen some messages. Let me go in there.
Yeah,
quickly.
I'm dealing with them.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fine. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Okay. So your daughter's birthday is Abna. Maybe you are quick because I'm a gun. So this looks okay, but it's okay for what? 24 days. So if we have an attacker who is determined and is brute forcing, and you are using one of these things on any platform, potentially in 24 days, this will give up. So like I just showed you, try and bring in a few things. Never leave your space. See what we've done to it? Abin Akwe, but the name is actually Abina Kwe. And because we added that space, this permutation has given us 57 years to be cracked. You need to put in a little effort to protecting your virtual valuables, and your password management cannot be underrated. For those of you who want to check if your account have been hacked on any platform, please use this portal. I'm not going to waste too much time on it. I just brought it up for resource sake. Now I have an old account that has been compromised. I don't use it anymore anyway, so I'll use that to do a demonstration for you. So yes, it's been found. So it will show you where it was found. So in 2013, when Adobe was hacked, my account was used on Adobe, so it got hacked. Anti-public combo in 2016, the data enrichment exposure in 2019, that's just a year ago. LinkedIn in 2016, which is true. Linus Forum in 2018, Reverb Nation in 2014, and of course, we've been scrapped in 2018. So as far back as between 2014 and 2019, all the various hacks that has happened have affected these accounts. And like I said, if you are also in the business of not changing your passwords, you are also exposing yourselves. Let me go back to the slide, and we should be heading towards a close. Okay. I have a clickbait demo to do, so I'll do that, and that will close us. Right. So here, it's a big deal. So the image says it all, and I've done that with the demonstration, so I really don't need to drag in here. The other part, which is actually almost the last one, is the third-party apps. Now, I'm not even going to do any demonstration on third-party apps, but I can tell you emphatically that the third-party apps that we use on Facebook and other platforms, or the ones we download from Play Store and the rest, we must be very careful, because in this era of free apps and free services, we all know that data mining, data harvesting is the reward in there. I did a presentation some time back with Isaka, and I was saying that trust is the currency that is going to guide businesses. This was in 2019. And yes, indeed, today trust is the currency. It's no more the dollar. People would move their accounts if they have reason to believe that you've joked with their privacy. You've not taken their privacy serious. Without mentioning names, but recently we heard that one telco has made some disclosure of personal data to the government. They've come out to dispute that, but we all know how social media took them on. And that is what I have been saying. That is the point I've been making, that the personal data, because we're giving personal data to service providers. What is going to govern business, the relationship is going to govern business soon. That currency will be trust. If your trust depreciates, you're going to be lost out of business. If your trust appreciates, you're going to be in business for a long time. And that is what is most important for us all. It would not be fun to end with these points without doing my demo. So please let me indulge me. That demo is important. I need to go back and do it with you, and then I'll come back and then we close. As you can see, that's the last slide. So here, this is the demo that we're going to do. This demo actually deals with clickbaiting. Now, if you watch the screen here, I'm running a small server developed by one of the security researchers. It's called Trip. And you can see that I've been able to create a URL link which will allow me to lure victims. Now, it's a LinkedIn link, but it's attached. There's a malformed URL attached. So it will allow me to be able to access whoever will run this link. It will allow me to access what they do. Now, so that's what clickbaiting actually does. I can put this URL in one of all these popular postings you get on social media, like recently when we heard that MTN was giving free data and stuff like that. People were clicking left, right, and center. I actually did an analysis on that, and it was actually a clickbait. They were using the mass clicking on it to push their Google Analytics app, and you know that allows them to increase their earnings in their Google AdSense. It could get worse, like what I'm about to show you. This can actually be used to hack your device. So please, your device is also part of your virtual valuables. Be circumspect on what you want to run on it. Now, as you can see, I have the connection here. It says the third time. I'm going to attempt to do a connection to it. Just watch the screen and see if I can get things rolling anytime now. So we do this. So I'm trying to do this on my phone. Unfortunately, since I'm not before you, you will not be seeing. But I hope the screen picks me up and then you can see. So I'm using a cell phone to click on the link, and I'm trying to open the link on a cell phone with me here. So let's see what happens. Okay, victim has closed the connection ID. Okay, so we are opening a new one. Now, victim has opened a new one. If you're following me, guys, this is what the attacker sees. Assuming I had sent the link out to you, this is what I would be seeing or this is what the attacker will be seeing. The attacker will see whenever you connect to the link, whenever you connect to the URL. And if it doesn't look very dangerous to you, I would show you something real quick. Just so we can wrap up. I seem to want to wrap up. No, that's not it. Okay. Okay, someone confirm if you see a different browser with the heading "people tracking on the internet." Just want to be sure everybody's. You don't?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. Let me try again. Please confirm when you see.
Okay.
Once you see it, I can do a few. You see it now?
What? Yeah, people tracker on the internet.
On the internet. Okay, good.
Yes.
So
it came with an
the
IP
dark screen
address.
that I showed. Yes, please. The dark screen that I showed you guys is actually the server sitting in between the attacker and the victim. And this is what we call the monitoring interface. So the victim can actually come back here and see everybody that has been connected before. As you can see from currently my database, I have 7 victims. Don't worry, these are all cell phones within the house. I was trying to make sure the demo works. And I have everybody connected. So some of demos I did in the past from 2018 are also showing. Then I have a 2020 here, today's date. This is one of the demos I've done today. And of course, those ones that are dark actually are for cell phones. And then I think the blue ones are for computers. So let me take one that just went through now, right? Okay. So this, oh, shoot, sorry. This is what I actually wanted. Now you can see the ID 4AB70. Should I show you this to confirm? Just so that's the ID 4AB70. A victim has connected from this IP address with following identifier 4AB70. So you see, the attacker knows you by name, I mean by ID that he's giving to you, and that's how he's going to do the monitoring. So I'll show you what they could do if they get you connected to their system. First, they could do geolocation with you. They could see when you are online and when you are offline on all these social media platforms, and that is if you belong to those social media platforms, especially if you connected with your phone. So all the sessions, connections will come on, and guys, they are with you all through everything that you are doing. It doesn't end there. They can actually send you attack hooks. When we say attack hooks, this is some, you can see here, they can insert a domain here for phishing and attack. They could redirect you to another, so you are doing you are doing your online banking, then they'll redirect you to another fake online banking page. You enter credentials and you have been hijacked. And then here, they can send messages directly to you. So for instance, if I say hacked at COA, this should go to the phone, and I will turn on my camera for, is my video showing?
No,
Yes.
we won't
So
see
please, you can check. No, it's showing. It's showing. If you look for the videos, yes, yeah, you can see it. The message has been sent to my phone. So it's the same way the attacker would be sending that message to you. And if it's an exploit, they will deliver it to you wherever you are, and then they compromise your device. So having said that, how do we arm ourselves? That takes me back to our slides. How do we arm ourselves? Oh, okay. I had a slide running already. Okay, you can see it, right?
Yes, we're seeing 6. Okay, yeah.
Okay, good. So I'm coming to a close. So now I'm giving you 6 signs which may show that your phone has been hacked. Why am I giving this to you? We just spoke about virtual valuables, and I didn't want to waste too much time on virtual valuables because I did a very good job explaining what it is, from your PII to the device that contains that PII. So I see virtual valuables from device point, and I also see it from accounts point. So social media accounts, bank accounts, email accounts, they are all virtual valuables. And then the device itself and whatever is on the device is also virtual valuables. And then the identity that we have is also a virtual valuable. So I'm looking at 6 signs that may show that your phone has been hacked. One, when you notice that your battery life keeps decreasing, please, there's a caveat here. When your phone is old and the battery life is decreasing, don't blame a hacker. But yes, this is one of the things you can look for. Also, when the performance of the phone is very sluggish, you can really tell that, no, this is not what my phone used to be. You could have background processes running. I've just demonstrated to you how easy it is for you to click on a link and get compromised. And then when you have high data usage, it's another problem. When you are getting outgoing calls or texts that you didn't send, it's a problem because you have cause to worry. And then when you're having mystery pop-ups on your device, it could be the phone, the laptop. This actually applies to any digital device that has an operating system. So it could be a phone, it could be a laptop, it could be a desktop. And then of course, when there's an unusual activity on any of your accounts linked to the device, please be fan of having your bank account alerts, be fan of having your emails checked. Please don't leave your virtual valuables without attendance. You once a while you need to just log in, check what's happening, review your, because if there's an incident, you are the only one who can see and report it for an immediate remediation. Then I give you 7 points to relative safety. Why am I saying relative safety? As a practitioner for 15 years, I can tell you there's nothing like 100% security. And it's the same thing that goes for your privacy. Your privacy is actually in your hands. You determine how that privacy would be protected. Now, the privacy laws is only to ensure that other people, who we call the data controllers, that collect information about you, do not abuse that information. But it does not take away the immediate first point of contact, that you are the one responsible for your privacy. So the first point is turn off your phone's Bluetooth and Wi-Fi when you are not using it. Devil finds work for idle hands. It fits in here perfectly. Keeping your phone firmware updated as well is a good way to prevent against Bluetooth hacking. I showed you that because my phone is updated, I couldn't use it. In fact, if I had an old phone which hasn't been updated, I probably would have shown you some magic with it. Then you use optimum privacy and security settings. Go through your Google. I will just show you one. Facebook settings, very easy. Now it's so intuitive, very easy to use. Go in and determine. And please, parents, for those of us who've given what to our kids, let them use the private settings on it, especially one that views their profile picture, their profile status, and they can limit it to a number of people that we can trust until such a time when we know that they are on their own. By all means and at all material times, there should not be too much freedom around digital devices. And that is not me saying don't allow them to use it. I have 4 kids and everybody has a tab. But if you are going to monitor them and you think you can soldier them on, good luck with it. My professional advice is it won't work. Just make sure they know where the security and privacy settings are. They know what to be worried of, and that is what point 3 is meant to do. Point 4, pause before sharing your personal information. I showed you just a gist, because we are limited with time and resource. I showed you just a gist of what can be done. But if that fascinates you, then I'm sure the next time we are having another session, we may dedicate enough time to this sort of information gathering, which would bring you jaw-dropping. Point 5, call out suspicious messages, including phone calls. The scammers, nowadays, they are making fun of them, so they are mindful of who they call. Then point 6, activate 2 layers of security, some password, some one-time code, maybe iris, maybe fingerprint. Yes, please, combination of them. Let's make things difficult for those out there who wants to make a mincemeat out of our virtual valuables. And finally, turn on your automatic software updates. If you are thinking about your data, once in a while, turn it on and make sure you are covered. Thank you so much for keeping time with me. I would end here and give it back to Awo.
Right. Thank you so much, Desmond. I would say that the fact that a lot of people have stayed with us all through implies that there's a desire. So we would now make give the opportunity to people who have questions or any clarification you wish to seek with regards to the presentation. Then we take that and call it a day.
Well, that works for me. I would stand by for.
I have 2 questions for you, but then I would ask after people have spoken.
Very well, very well.
Okay, my boss, I'm just unmuting you. Greg, hey, sorry. Good evening.
Yeah, so I think it's been a nice presentation, though I've been struggling because I'm tired. But
thank you.
my boss
is understandable, Chief.
Has put a lot of fear in me. I don't know where to block.
Oh,
because with all these IT gurus
not
out
my
there,
intention.
with all the IT gurus
Not my intention at all.
hey,
I
are
thought
we
I was
safe?
actually bringing the knowledge to your table.
Are we safe? These guys who are learning IT
Yes, we
from the
are.
internet cafes and all the corners, it just tells us the amount of risk that we have, particularly with children when they are not monitored. I was looking at, so what about these guys? Do they also look for convenient way of doing things? If it's going to take you 50 years to be able to determine somebody's password, and there's another way you can easily get a password, why would you want to be guessing to find out Greg's password? Looking at the scenarios that you painted first, using the Bluetooth to be able to access the person data, and then you have the password. It won't take 57 years. So why would somebody try to, create? But I know these are things they do, and they also do try and error things with you. But I'm just trying to find out what is the motive besides the Sakawa people that we see. Why would somebody want to hack into another person's platform? Because it creates a lot of fear and distrust. That as long as I know that somebody is an IT person or somebody knows a bit of
Yeah,
IT, the person
you
can do it.
become suspicious of the person.
Exactly. But I'm very grateful.
Right. Thank you, Desmond.
Sure.
Maybe before you,
okay, so
in addition to his question, I was thinking that, like you rightly said, it's advisable to keep the Bluetooth on in order to receive updates. But in a case where we have children who are not mindful of that, wouldn't it be good enough for us to be intermittent about it? And then the other thing has to do with our scanned documents. Sometimes you scan your passport or your account detail, and then you are keeping it on your device or in your inbox and all of that. What will be the likely implications of that? Even though those are scanned, so long as they are identifiable, or you can be identified with them, I feel there's some level of vulnerability in that. I don't know if you could enlighten us on that.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, I seem to be losing connection, but once you can hear me, I'm fine. Okay, so let me start with the motivation behind cyber attacks or hacks. There are myriads of them. I'll tell you, it's business for some. Some are also in there for we have the state actors, and then we have the individual actors, and then we have corporate actors. So if I put them in that context, I can speak about espionage, for instance, for corporate and state actors. It can also be a matter of security. So a country can actually have a team that does that identifies these vulnerabilities and takes advantage of them. We have the individuals who also do this for a living. There's a black market, you may not know, but there's a black market for these sort of virtual valuables. There's a black market that allows them to sell your personal information, your credit cards. I mean, I have always said that the Sakawa boys are the least of the problems. They are actually consumers. They are consumers of what some pro hackers have done. They are buying those materials to use them. Some of them don't even have the skill to get that information, be able to harvest credit cards on their own. Some do, some don't. So like I said, they are even some, as you see them, some are actually end users of the game. So if there's a market that is going to buy your credit cards, is going to buy your passport documents, is going to buy almost anything about you that could allow you to be compromised, then that is enough motivation. And that is why today the conversation has even shifted to cybercrime laws. and also empowering state institutions that are supposed to be in charge with some of these things to ensure that people can be brought to book when they flout the law. But to answer your question in a quite straightforward manner, you have almost numerous motivation. Look, the US, there was a hack which was built, it was called Stuxnet. It was the US who sponsored that hack against the Iranian nuclear plant. What do you call that? It's motivation. It's at that diplomatic level of state-to-state warfare. Sony got hacked. Their movies were dumped all over the place. Why? Later on, it was found out that there's some corporate espionage in there. Individuals get their PIIs missing, and what you realize is their bank accounts have been emptied. Obviously, if a bank account has been emptied, then it means the attacker is interested in the money. So there's so many motivation why, and it's the same motivation why you should also take your virtual valuables like dead serious and safeguard it. Can you help me with a refresher on your question?
Yeah, so essentially, I want you to enlighten us on what happens to our scan documents that we keep in our emails and stuff like that. And then the second one has to do with when it comes to children, because they might not be that responsible when it comes to handling the Bluetooth and all of that. Is it okay to be intermittent about it? So kindly be thinking about that question. Safa Core has her hand up, muted so that she could put forward a question in addition to what I've asked you.
Okay.
Yeah, Safa Core, you have the floor, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, especially to Desmond and Awo. In fact, this is a great lecture, or you give us a lot within a short period. My question, I just want to know, I am into research a lot. So recently I was in a very big mess. I don't know how far I am out of it. And I would love to continue this dialogue with Desmond after here, if I could connect me to him. Especially recently, I have this online research presentation and publication. So, and I have some articles to publish, and that is where my focus is. So anything online about researching, publication, presentation, I'm always there. But recently, I got into this disability and rehabilitation virtual conference. That is a title, and I would love it if Desmond could work on it or Google it, or because I got lost when you were presented, especially when you started the Google demo. I couldn't hear anything, and I had nothing to try when you presented that. I really want to do certain things myself and see if this is really a scam, because that was the information I got, that I have registered with my Visa card, everything, and I got to know that it's a scam. But I can assure you, they are still sending messages. We had an email today that we will be presenting online. They sent a Zoom and all those stuff. So I'm still in that mess, which I don't know whether it is practically a scam, if it is, because I just heard from friends that it's a scam. It's an academic scam, but I can't lay hands on anything. So how do we, so now this is a question, how do we know, especially issues of this sort, which are really targeting the academic or the academia, and we as laymen, just all that we want to do is write, publish, and all those stuff. How do we know? Because that is my biggest deal. And what I said is, the particular one I'm talking about presently, which I'm in a dilemma for, is this World Disability and Rehabilitation Virtual Conference. And yeah, if you could confirm that this is a hack or this is a scam, this is whatever, I would love it. Thank you, Desmond.
Okay.
Right, Desmond.
All right. So that gives me 4 points. Let me start from the top. Scan documents. So scan documents, we should look at it from two angles. If the documents are very sensitive, don't scan them at public locations. Some of these devices have some sort of memory. In fact, let me say they have memories. So they store some of these things before they pull out the output for you. So if you don't want this information to be in somebody's hands, please try and do this thing within some confined areas as much as you can. And if you are doing it with third parties, possibly have to be third parties you can trust. You can't be foolproof about it, but my advice would be that if you the place that these documents are scanned is important. That's why I am almost in love with the cam scanner on the phones, because it does very good jobs for very quick scans. And so yes, it stays on your phone and the responsibility becomes yours. Now let's move away from the devices to the electronic format. Now that the file has been scanned, storage is important. So at this point, you're actually your own data controller. And like I said, it's not everything that you're really bothered about. That is why you first of all have to look at what has been scanned. What is the value of what has been scanned? Is it your passport? What is the potential that if somebody gets a copy of your scanned passport, they could be malicious with it? Your guess is as good as mine. Any other document, any other ID, if you're a fan of doing that, because I am, then it means you need to put your security in check. So what I personally do is that I have it in my inbox, and then I have it on my Google Cloud. Now, I don't know about everybody else, but I paid for my Google service. But as I speak to you, I'm supposed to renew it because I wanted extra security on the things I put out in my Google Cloud. It's actually my best way out in keeping these documents and making sure that I have them. Hello? So yes, the scan documents, so long as they are important, please be guided on where we are putting them. If we are putting them on our email, then it means the most important thing now is access to that email. If we are not securing that email account well, it could not only be the scan documents, there could be other things in there that could be laid hands upon. So scan documents, depending on what we want to use them for, depending on why we are scanning them, because there must be a reason for everything. And like I say, privacy and security did not come to stifle innovation. No, not at all. It rather came to make it better. It is saying that if you want to do things digitally, this is a better way of doing it and ensuring people's security and privacy. So if you want to keep scanned documents in electronic formats and keep them in maybe a repository or your inbox, it's good, so long as it makes it easier for you to access it. But then again, you might want to check all the security that comes with it. If your email account is having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as password, your guess is as good as mine. You could lose the account and lose whatever it's in there. And in the era of identity theft, when these things get out in the hands of the wrong people, you can be rest assured they would empty your digital life and it would not even be funny. Bluetooth and kids. Yes, we have to be intermittent about it. I don't even know how else I'm supposed to put that. I for once believe that so long as we are dealing with kids, I'll bet what we've come to appreciate about the rights of the kids, they are also under our care. They are actually, we are the first point of reference. Like my friends at the bar would say, when a child commits a crime, it's the next of kin, because the child itself is not seen as somebody who can commit the crime. So look at it from that context, that even though that child has some rights, it is still important for you to show the way and lead that child to exercise that right appropriately. Because a right without its proper exercise would also become what? Chaos. Haven't we heard of freedom of speech? And then the freedom cannot be guaranteed after the speech is done. It is similar to the child's right. The child has a right to be able to communicate. So you bought the child a digital device so you can access online classrooms and all that. That digital device came with a Bluetooth, and the child turns it on and he finds himself within vicinities where we have people who have skilled that would allow them to circumvent some of these infrastructure or platforms or devices that we use. obviously invariably we put the child at risk, but we didn't set out to put the child at risk. So I think it is important to look at every other thing, not only Bluetooth, every other thing that we know would create what we call an attack surface for that child must be safeguarded until the child is grown enough to make his own decisions and to take responsibility for those decisions. On the last one from Sefako, 2 points. She spoke about what we call Google Docs. I'm going to put together a few of that, which will allow you to search for your research materials. I will share with Ao, who will be our conduit, and then you can make reference. She would probably forward it to you by email or whichever distribution medium she's going to use. I'll also share the slides with her. I don't know how that slide is going to help you. They were just supposed to be pointers, but I'll still share it.
And the recording will be shared as well. Recording will be shared by all the registrants.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So I would add a little material called Google Doc to it. Google Doc is a way by which you research for information. I'll add a few, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 lines, which would help you in your work as you wanted. Then about academic scam. The first thing about dealing with scams is to do what you would call in academic circle as peer review. Yes, you have to do a similar thing with whenever you suspect that an activity could contain scam. What we do is, if it's coming from a location, like I can use a practical example. Recently, a gentleman brought documentation from I think Spain or so about a company who wanted to transact in pharmaceutical business with them. Now, after cross-checking and doing a few follow-ups, we realized that there's another entity, same entity in India. So we were beginning to wonder if the two were related, or if the other side has actually mimicked the one in India and is trying to use it to defraud our clients. So we had to call the one in India and start from there, because we wanted to, of course, they are the ones we have not spoken to. So we called them only to find out that, yes, they have started something in Spain in about the past 3 years. And it seems like their agent there is the one trying to create the connection. That's the only way you can set off your doubts. You need to be able to ascertain if this is something that somebody else can vouch for, somebody else outside the circles of where you are being dealt with, because people within the circles can even make matters worse for you. Concerning your specific interest in that conference, share my email address or phone number, and then you can send it to me. In fact, you can actually get the phone number and send it off to me, maybe on WhatsApp or something. I would take time and look at it. I do get busy, but when I sit down, I do work as well. So yes, you can pardon me. You can pardon me for that.
Thank you very much. This is helpful.
Right. Thank you so much for keeping faith with us and for your patience. It's time now for us to get off for another session to take off. But then key among the things, it's important we protect our virtual valuables and the children inclusive. So by way of helping with the children in step-by-step approach, let's make it a point to download the how-to guide. To help us do the detox at our phone level, to our Bluetooth and all the other things we spoke about, have step-by-step guides in it. And then we'll go a long way to preserving our valuables and not be open to vulnerabilities at the end of the day. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.
Bye.